Thanks, Alex. My name is Gerard Kisbey-Green and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of GoldPlat.
All right. GoldPlat processing gold from by-production of the mining industry. Can you provide a little more info on this, please?
Yeah, sure. I think there's often a bit of a misunderstanding with respect to our recovery business as to what exactly we do, and many shareholders, in fact, but institutions and investors think that we reprocess slimes, dams and that kind of thing, and tailings. We do a bit of that, but it's not our core business. We differentiate ourselves from those recovery operations in that we process the byproducts of primary mining activities, which the mining operators have to get rid of in some form or other, in order to comply with environmental laws. We can take that off their hands, process it, extract metals, and return either metals or profitability in terms of dollars to them.
Yeah.
And those are typically fine carbon from your carbon and leach and carbon and pulp processes. It's mill liners, both rubber and steel. We burn the rubber and we shot blast the steel. It's wood chips from primarily South African deep level mines where they use wood for support, and the wood gets blasted and ends up in the ore and gets screened out in the processing plant. Grease from the processing plants, all manner of pond sludges, a bunch of other material, but things that the companies have to deal with. It's an issue for them and they need to spend money to deal with. They give it to us, we can extract the metals and we can give them some profitability back.
All right. You're in town to discuss the release of your interim results. Can you comment any further, please?
Yeah, sure. I think the interim results have been very positive. Other than
I've seen them. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Other than Kilimapesa mine, where it's been, we brought it to a kind of an operational break even, but some issues in the last 6 months led it to be on the negative side, and so we're making losses again. So it's a focus of our attention. But other than that, it's been a really good 6 months where we've turned the business around through a very well determined kind of turnaround strategy, which we can discuss. And we cash flow positive, and we're back to business as usual after having a very difficult period last year.
I've got to ask this one. I've seen your RNS, and like you're cash positive, and the share price. You look at the share price, and you don't see a reaction. It must be frustrating for you guys when you put news out, and what's going on here?
I
don't get it. Like
Alex, to be honest, we've gone in the last 12 months from a low of 160 to a high of 560.
Yeah.
That's good in anyone's book. We're happy. We've been putting out positive news flow regularly over the last 6 months, and the market has rewarded us really positively. I don't know if there's a bit of buy on the rumor, sell on the fact kind of a scenario, but we're not unhappy. There's also been a lot of people who invested at certain levels, and as we go through those levels, they're offloading, and those are still sellers.
Yeah, profit takers, yeah.
Profit takers are people just trying to recover what they've invested a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So we're not unhappy with that. We didn't lose ground. We're quite happy with where we are.
No, that's great. Yeah. The next question: when are dividends likely to be reinstated?
Probably not for some time. We've been reinvesting in the business, and I think that's the prudent thing to do. I think our shareholders are happy with that, and we'll continue to do so for quite some time, and until we really feel that the business is really back on a good footing. We've spent money on the capital projects that we and our shareholders would like us to, and we're making good money again, and then we will look at the dividend policy again, but it's not for a while.
All right, you revisit it obviously when you've done that, yeah.
Indeed.
Here's the loaded question. Do you have any estimates for free cash flow 2016-17?
I can give you one if you can give me the gold price.
I knew when I asked you that question you would come out. It's one of them, isn't it? You know what I mean? How long's a piece of string?
Yeah,
no disrespect.
On the one hand, we're busy implementing our turnaround strategy, and it's early days. We're doing really nicely right now. That's the one thing. The other thing is we don't know where the gold price will be out there.
Yeah.
And we don't know what the market will be like. So the exchange rates are very volatile in the markets we're operating in. So at this point in time, not really. There's some analyst reports out there, and you take a look at them, I guess.
All right. No, that's good. can you comment on your turnaround strategy with the gold recovery operations in South Africa and Ghana in depth, please?
Yeah, and I mean, I'll do it in less depth really because of time, but
Yeah.
I mean, there was a period last year where our single refiner at the time, being the Rand refinery in South Africa, had operational issues, they had labour issues, and they had kind of logistical issues, and they became unable to process a lot of the material that they had previously been processing for us very reliably. They continued throughout to refine our gold, but it was other material they couldn't process. And before we were aware of this issue, we'd built up a lot of stock that we'd been procuring from outside sources, third parties, and we were unable to process it. So the result was, we weren't getting revenue, we weren't paying back our suppliers of material, they then stopped supplying the material, and it kind of, that whole part of the business kind of ground to a halt to a large extent. Primarily, it really hit Ghana hard, because it was the only source of business or the only revenue stream in Ghana. So we were kind of in a pickle. What we did was a number of things in terms of the turnaround strategy. Number one is we secured a pipeline and a refinery through the Arubis refinery in Germany. So that kind of took care of the majority of that particular material. However, it was a 5-month pipeline before we'd get cash flow out of it. So we had a cash flow issue still. We pre-financed the pipeline through Oramet, so that took care of the cash, and we managed to pay our suppliers back, and they started supplying us material again. And then we acquired an elution plant from DRD Gold, and we erected the first column and associated infrastructure in our South African operation, or at our South African operation, during the course of this period, and it was commissioned and operational in December. And so we've been expediting the process of what we call the backlog material that had built up over that period. Those were the 3 big items that we did to turn ourselves around. Obviously, ongoing cost cutting, but that's not just a throwaway comment. We have been doing cost cutting. We've been addressing all the legacy contracts and making sure that every time we renegotiate a contract, it's in our favour. Because a lot of the contracts were negotiated when the gold price was $14, $15, $16, $1700, and the margins were very skinny. So we renegotiated contracts that are profitable and properly profitable at current kind of levels. So that was primarily the turnaround strategy, and it's all borne fruit. For all intents and purposes, the backlog stock is now a thing of the past. We are no longer captive to a single refinery risk. We're doing business with Rand Refinery again, as in not just refining of gold, but in the ancillary business. In fact, we're processing material for them. One of the issues I said they had was they had some logistical issues where they'd procured a whole bunch of material that they couldn't actually process. So we're doing a lot of that for them right now. So it's been very interesting, and I think we're on an even keel now. We're profitable again, and we look forward to building on that.
It's been a lot of pressure for you in them days when you were doing that. It must be, because trying to sort all that situation out. I don't think.
Yeah, I think so. But we got a good team, and we kind of know what we're on about. And it was just a matter of stepping back and taking a look at the situation and realigning the business. Right. We've got a strong board and a good board and a good executive team. So and everyone pulled together, so it worked pretty well.
So you're strong, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your proposed development plans for your gold mine in Kenya?
That's an interesting one. I mean, in summary, the Kenyan gold mine is on a very nice resource, 670,000 ounces of gold, good grades, it's shallow underground, easy to mine, and for all intents and purposes, it should be a profitable mine of scale. It's not producing to scale, it's processing constrained, and we're doing 3,000 ounces a year, which is just not an economic scale kind of mine. We need to move the processing plant to a new site, we need to develop a new tailings deposition facility, and we need to up the production to a scale which is economically viable. The problem being that where we are right now in terms of the production and in the markets, we can't finance that operation, that change. So we've now finally taken the decision to finance it internally, if that's what it takes. We've just got to finalize the numbers, and what we're going to do is a 2-stage process. The first of which is kicking off shortly, and it's moving a plant which we have in Ghana at the moment, which is redundant. We've deconstructed it, we're packaging it and containerizing it. We're going to ship it around to Kenya. We'll install that on the new site.
All right.
The new site has been procured, all of the agreements were done, all the environmental impact assessments have been done. We're awaiting sign-off on a couple of those items, and then we're good to go there. So we'll put the new plant, in inverted commas, not a brand new plant, but a new plant for there, onto the new site. We'll construct a intermediate deposition facility for the tailings on the new tailings deposition site, and we'll double the production and we'll return to profitability. If everything works fantastically, it'll be a 6-month process. It's Africa, and we've got quite a lot of, we're in the hands of shipping companies and a bunch of things. So, I think once we push the button, it'll probably be about a 9-month process, and then we can have Killy back in profits. And stage 2 then will be to properly upscale it by putting in raising capital for a sizable new plant and making a decent amount of it. But it's really is, we don't want to raise equity capital right now. We can't project finance such a small project, and we can't really do a streaming kind of deal on such small production. So for now, we'll finance it internally.
All right, that's a really good answer, actually. With the Australian gold market picking up, are you upbeat the markets are turning for the mining companies? That's referring basically to the price of gold in Australia, the way...
Yeah.
Because I was talking to somebody last year from Australia... Anyway, last week, sorry, I apologise. And it seems like it seems to be changing, picking up.
Well, I'm honestly, I've got no clue what the Australian dollar gold price is.
Yeah. Just as a yardstick.
But Australia really is a commodity-based or resource-based country,
yeah.
As is South Africa,
yeah.
And as are most of the countries we operate in.
Yeah.
And I think in local currencies, most of them have reacted the exchange rates similarly. I mean, Kenya happens to be a little bit different. The shilling's been quite strong, but certainly the South African rand has been exceptionally weak. One of the weakest currencies out there.
Terrible,
But the upside is, we've had record ever rand gold prices. It's never been as high. There are associated other inflationary impacts, so there's impacts on our margins, but the revenue side, the gold price, has been very strong. So that's fine in local currency. At the end of the day, we still have to bring everything back into pounds because we're a London company. But to get back to your question, so yeah, in local currencies, our gold prices are quite nice and quite strong, and that's all very good and well. Do I notice any turnaround in the market?
Yeah.
Yes, and it's really interesting because we're down at the Indaba in Cape Town a couple of weeks ago, and the sentiment's turned very quickly. And I'm certainly not calling a bull market now or the end of the bear market or anything, but people are interested now. I had a lot of people very interested in GoldPlat and very interested in our projects, and sadly wanting to finance bigger numbers than what we need right now. But a lot of people, and this week as well, people have been saying they feel gold is turning bullish. So there's quite a lot of sentiment. Now in January, when normally you have a couple of weeks where if you want to raise money for gold, you climb in January and you get it done, and if you haven't done it by mid-February, it's too late. There was nothing in January that I saw. And all of a sudden in February, sentiment's changed a bit. Now I don't know what that is because, the world, global economics haven't changed significantly. The dollar outlook hasn't changed that much. But whatever it is, we'll take it. Sentiment is certainly changing for now.
So you would say you're in a good place then, right now?
Well,
for the markets.
Put it this way: if the markets stay where they are, we're making money again.
Right. Yeah.
If the markets go up, we're quite nicely positioned and we're quite leveraged to the gold price to do well. So, we're confident that we're not anxiously looking at the gold price every single day. We're just getting on with the business and making, focusing on our margins, our cost structures, and developing our business.
The recent developments at your recovery operation in South Africa, can you explain the additional upside opportunities for the company and the shareholders? I don't ask these questions, these are sent in by real people. You're looking at me strangely, this is not me asking this.
It's like you're not a real person.
I know, but these are all submitted through,
You're a Yorkshireman, or what are you?
No, North East of England. These are submitted through emails, direct messages, bulletin boards. I read some of these questions and I'm thinking, it's okay, So, do you want me to reiterate that?
On the recovery business, some people believe it might be X growth, and we don't believe that. So, Ghana, I'll start there. Ghana, we operate in a free trade zone, so it's very tax efficient. It's very well situated with respect to West Africa. So, we made it very public over quite some time that we'd like to develop Ghana as a hub for the West African recovery business, and grow it substantially. There is a ring-fenced treaty amongst the ECOWAS countries where they can't export non-final beneficiated materials, and we're working on with the different governments and ministries to try and break that treaty in some form or other. But it'll take a while and it's hard work. But ideally, we'll start importing material from West Africa to Ghana, so that would create a growth opportunity there. And we've also been quite vociferous about the fact that we'd like to go into the Americas.
Right.
There's no one really been doing our business that we know of in the Americas, and they've been mining, high-grade mines for years. So the high-value stuff like the fine carbon, we'd like to start getting from South America, for example, and bringing it into Ghana. And Ian has been in South America recently, back end of last year, and we're trying to negotiate a couple of contracts at the moment. And with a fair wind from behind, we'll enter into some contracts and start bringing material into Ghana. And if it's not appropriate to take it to Ghana, we'll bring it to South Africa. So that's certainly a growth opportunity. In Ghana at the moment, we were reduced to one revenue stream, which is the fine carbon business. We built and installed and commissioned our first shot blast facility in Ghana at the end of last year, calendar year. And that's small, it's not huge, but it can cover overheads, and that's scalable. So that's certainly a growth area as well. With respect to South Africa and in terms of growth, we're running pretty much at capacity at the moment. So absent building more circuits, in terms of our throughput, we're kind of where we can be. Our focus needs to be reducing costs and improving the grade of the source material to the extent that we can. So that's kind of where the growth would come from there.
All right, yeah.
We've also got, you might have seen in the results that we've just recently declared a JORC compliant resource on our stock dam, which is 82,000 ounces of gold and significant silver and uranium oxide. And we'll be working over the next few months to optimize both the mining and the processing and the deposition of their stock dam. But it's on our site, it belongs to us. It's running at 2 grams a ton, more or less, and it could be profitable over the next few years as well. So some growth to come from there too.
That sounds good. Final question. How can you attract new investors, and why should they invest in GoldPlat?
Well, I think,
Honest answer.
Yeah.
Not PR.
I mean, we've spoken about what we've done. I think it should be clear to investors that we've got a good management team that know what they're doing. We understand our business, and it's a niche business for a whole bunch of reasons. We've managed to have the share price go up threefold just about in the last year. And I can see no reason why it can't continue to improve. And I think we look after shareholders' money responsibly. We've not been wasting money. We run a lean operation, and we've got a growth plan. So, it's the other thing is a lot of shareholders like the fact that you get exposure to gold without necessarily the technical risk. Now, obviously, we have Kilimapesa, and we do have a strategy to increase our primary mining. But there's a good chunk of exposure to gold without the mining technical risk. I mean, in a nutshell, we've got 1 million ounces plus of resource. We're producing in excess of 30,000 ounces. We've got a strong management team, and we're cash flow positive and got a good growth story. And it's a nice story in this market relative to our peers to sell.
No, that's fantastic. Thanks very much for taking the time to tell me.
Cheers. Good.